let's return to one of our top stories today. And Liberal leader John Pesutto has been officially ousted in a spill. Brad Battin is set to take over as the new Liberal Party leader in a special party room meeting that also heralded the return of ousted MP Moira Deeming. Joining me now is our panel, Liberal MP Garth Hamilton and Sky News contributor James Bolt. Welcome to both of you. Now, Garth, I would have said Pesutto's position, and I did say this, became untenable the moment he lost his defamation battle against Moira Deeming, and it became even more so after he used his vote to refuse her back into the party. Would you agree?
I think you're spot on there. It reminds me of a great line from Tennyson, authority forgets a dying king. Once the rot had set in, I think there was time for change. And I'm glad to see Victorian Liberal Party have sorted that out today. And I hope this is the last time for a very, very long time I'm asked about the Victorian Liberal Party. The last thing Australians want to hear is about the internal workings of political parties. We want to know what they're going to do for us, how they're going to make our lives better. Great to hear already. The focus is going to be on law and order, restoring the budget and repairing Victoria's roads. These are things that people care about. I think it would be very wise to keep on those topics from now on.
Garth is right, James. People are sick of the infighting, and as soon as it became a case of Pesutto against Deeming, I think people really wanted what was going on, that this wasn't a government, an opposition that could form an alternate government in Victoria. Do you think that this new look party can be more competitive against the Allen government?
I think time will tell. I think we just need to remember that 4 people in the Victorian Liberal Party woke up this morning thinking that they could be leader. Now, one of them obviously was given the boot, but I wonder if the other 2 are still thinking, if I can convince the right people. I mean, Battin isn't there because of some ideological shift in the party or because there's a whole new flux of members. He's there because the Victorian Liberal MPs decide their political future and the expediency is better off with him than it was with Pesutto. You only need a few people to change their minds on that, and we're right back to arguing against each other. The Victorian Liberals are right back to arguing against each other. I just feel that this might not be the last we'll hear of the infighting, and that can become a bit of a culture that is going to derail another election.
Well, we see all too often when a leader is deposed, they don't exactly always go quietly. Even though John Pesutto said he would back in Brad Battin, it will remain to be seen. We will stay tuned. Let's stay in Victoria now. And we saw last week Tim Pallas stand down as State Treasurer, leaving behind debt hurtling towards $188 billion and the highest taxes in the nation. According to analysts, the Allen government has consistently underestimated its public sector wages in recent years, and the bill has now blown out by almost $3 billion in just 1 year, sparking fears the state's net debt level of $187 billion is likely to continue rising. James, let's start with you now. I mean, talk about big government.
Yeah, well, 187 billion is a terrifying number. The issue, I think, is that for voters, it's not something that they can feel or touch like it is with some other political issues. And therefore, I don't know how many people are going to sway their vote based solely off the debt. And I think that's going to be interesting for Brad Battin because not a lot of people know who he is. He doesn't have the big name splash. So he is going to have to start promising things in the next election campaign. So is that going to be something where he can win an election based off, I'm going to give you less things than the opposition? Or are Labor going to be able to capitalise on, hey, you voters actually don't care what the debt number is. You just want free stuff. Here it's the free stuff. I think Brad Battin, that's going to be a big test for him.
Yeah, people love free stuff, that's true. But Garth, the government has said it's updated its public sector wages policy to support Victorian workers in a cost of living crisis, and that's what's led to this public sector wages blowout. Do you think voters really are going to cop that sort of explanation?
Well, they're not copping it when they hear it from Jim Chalmers. This is the same sort of automatic spending excuse that he's tried to use as well, that we just have to throw more money at this problem and that by throwing more of your tax dollars back at you, we're going to pretend somehow that the structural problem that's causing this has been resolved. I don't think voters will put up with this for too much longer. But one thing I do think is really extraordinary here, Victorian government consistently underestimating their spend I don't believe that. I really don't. There's a whole heap of highly educated and, quite frankly, very competent people working in Treasury. And for this Victorian government to year on year say they've underestimated this, I don't think that's right. I think when we get the chance to look into this behind the scenes at a future change of government, I think there'll be some political trickery that's gone on with those numbers. They've deliberately underreported them, would be my guess, because there's just no way that with the amount of people working in the Treasury there, that they could be wrong year on year.